It's Wednesday. I'm Carl Lazouz. This is CNN Student News. Thank you for stopping by to spend part of your day with us. Let's check out what's first up. The Republican National Convention. It's back on schedule after Monday's plans were cut short because of Hurricane Gustav. Now, Tuesday brought speeches from several big names, including Senator Joe Lieberman. 8 years ago, he was the Democratic vice presidential nominee. Yesterday, he addressed the GOP, or Grand Old Party's convention. The Republican gathering also heard from President Bush about his support for the man he hopes will succeed him. Now for a look at some of the highlights from Tuesday at the RNC.
We're the party of Lincoln, who said that America is the last best hope of earth.
Bless the leaders of our land, that we may be a people at peace among ourselves and a blessing to other nations of the earth.
Strength, courage, humility, wisdom, beauty, honor. Tonight our country is calling to all of us to step up and to stand up and put country first with John McCain. Tonight we're being called upon to do what is right for our country.
When you vote for president, vote for the person you believe is best for our country. I'm here to support John McCain because country matters more than party.
And we need a president who understands the lessons of September the 11th, 2001. The man we need is John McCain.
Time for the shout out. What animal is featured on the logo of the Republican Party? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it a lion, elephant, bear, or eagle? You've got 3 seconds. Go. An image of an elephant has been associated with the GOP dating back to the 1870s. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
The cleanup process is getting started along the Gulf Coast as the region begins to recover from Hurricane Gustav. You can see in these pictures how rain and wind from the storm flooded areas all along the Gulf Coast, not just in Louisiana when it came ashore on Monday. Around 1.5 million homes were left without power, a situation the governor of Louisiana described as a huge challenge. 2 million people evacuated before this storm hit. And while the worst weather is over with, officials are warning them to hold tight so that critical repairs can be taken care of before the residents return. For many people, that means spending more time in the shelters where they went to escape from this storm. One of the locations in Alexandria, Louisiana, provided safe haven to thousands of people, and half of them, are children younger than you are. Christine Romans shows us what life is like for kids inside one of these shelters.
2,700 evacuees and counting. And children are around every corner. Many oblivious to the wind and water outside. Others thinking of home. 10-year-old Devin Laurent and his mother have no idea how long they'll be here. For now, more than 1,000 children call this 5-acre facility home.
The shelter was started after Hurricane Katrina for the very purpose of avoiding disasters like the Superdome. In fact, the building was completed just 2 weeks ago, barely in time for Hurricane Gustav.
No one wants to repeat those mistakes. Here, there is supervised play and safe zones for children.
We're trying to be very watchful to make sure that they're getting the attention, that they get the reassurance that they need to know that it's going to be okay.
Many of these kids have lived through this before.
Every time a storm happens, particularly a large storm or a new evacuation, they're re-traumatized.
It's been hard.
Odyssey Stivers has 3 young children and a baby on the way.
My oldest son thinks that this is home now, and I told him, yeah, temporarily, for now. But no, this is not home.
At least for now, there are 2,700 temporary residents here. Christine Romans, CNN, Alexandria, Louisiana.
Gustav is gone, but a trio of tropical storms is drawing attention in the Atlantic. The first, Hannah, is expected to make landfall later on this week, somewhere between Florida and North Carolina. On the heels of Hannah is Ike. Forecasters believe it could move into the Caribbean as a hurricane next weekend. And finally, Josephine. This storm formed yesterday near Africa. It's heading west, but no predictions yet about where and when it might hit land.
Time for some fast facts. Hurricanes are assigned names by the World Meteorological Organization. As storms develop, they are given names in alphabetical order using every letter except for Q, U, and Z. The organization rotates 6 lists of names, so the same list is used every 6 years. If a hurricane is particularly deadly or costly, its name is retired and a new name is added to replace it. 5 storms were retired from the 2005 list, the most of any single year. To learn more about how and where hurricanes form, check out our learning activity and one sheet on cnnstudentnews.com.
The Sears Tower in Chicago, the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur, the World Financial Center in Shanghai. What do they have in common? Each is the tallest building in its home country. Shanghai's skyscraper is actually the newest of this group. It just opened on Saturday, and China is hoping the young building will help showcase the country's economic power. Eunice Yoon shows us the view from one of the tallest structures in the world.
For Chinese architect Rebecca Chung, a stroll through this trendy district in Shanghai is like a trip down memory lane. Chung studied architecture here in the 1980s.
If you can imagine, there's like a 10 house units trapped in one house. It's actually pretty shabby. You don't believe it, right?
Hard to believe now because Shanghai has been transformed over the years from this into this. China is pushing to turn the city into an international financial capital.
Shanghai already had the potential to develop from a trading center to a financial center. It can turn itself into a place like New York.
Mori's skyscraper is the latest symbol of those aspirations. Called the Shanghai World Financial Center, the 101-story building is 492 meters tall.
We're on the 100th floor of this building. This is the highest observation deck in the world. You could actually see 2 of the tallest buildings in Shanghai, the Pearl TV Tower, as well as the Jinmao building. But this financial center is even taller.
In fact, the tower is the tallest in China and one of the highest in the world. Started 14 years ago in the fledgling financial district of Pudong, the structure was designed to showcase China's growing economic might.
It represented this kind of fresh, strong approach to the future, saying that China really is here, it's arrived.
But its arrival was delayed by everything from the 1997 financial crisis to an outcry by Chinese who believed the original design of a circle at the top was a ploy by the Japanese builder to embed a rising sun into the Shanghai skyline. Architect Chung helped with the negotiations to alter the design from a circle to a rectangle.
I realized that a lot of people they have a very strong feelings, and as an architect, we have to appreciate that and have to address their concerns.
The concern now is how the financial center will fill all of its office space in a post-Olympics economy made vulnerable by a global credit crunch, especially with more high-rises opening just around the corner. Most are designed by architects from overseas, but that is changing.
I think over time the Chinese architects will get better and better and may not need any of us anymore.
As Shanghai, a vibrant center of international commerce in the 1930s, strives to tower over the world again. Eunice Yoon, CNN, Shanghai.
We love your comments on our blog, and you don't even have to agree with the stuff I say. Just keep it clean, crisp, and to the point. We've been getting some comments on different subjects than the ones posted, or comments in the wrong spots, so we put up a kind of catch-all post today where you can tell us what's on your mind. And finally, a way to cool off from the dog days of summer. That's one way to do it, and a popular one in Madison, Wisconsin. More than 800 dogs took a dip in the public pool there over the weekend. The canine carousing was for a good cause. This event raises money toward adding canine units to the city's police force. The paddling pooches, they just get to enjoy splashing around. That story's all washed up. So is today's show. I'm Carl Lazouz.